Let's go to Newsleak with Johannes now. And Johannes, I wanted to start off on a cartoon about events in America, because we've talked a lot about that in the program tonight. And Warren Brown at the Daily Telegraph has summed it up with a great cartoon. He's got the Statue of Liberty saying, "I can breathe," after the guilty verdict was handed down. Now, we've seen a lot of journalists sort of being activists on this story, but there's no doubt that's the reality, is with that guilty verdict, people were relieved that we weren't going to see violence and riots.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. I mean, I think Warren's summed up this sense that the decision that we were all expecting will hopefully lead to some degree of healing, perhaps, and a step towards a sense that that awful injustice has at least been addressed now, and that America can move on, and that the rest of the world and onlookers in the rest of the world can take a breath and exhale, I suppose. I think that's his message there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of summed up the zeitgeist nicely. He's another cartoon of his I want to go to is still on a justice theme, I suppose, and that is the announcement of the Royal Commission into veteran suicides. And he's has an image of veterans and obviously the parents of veterans. Very, very poignant cartoon, because justice arrives and says, "I'm sorry, I've been missing in action," but is now there. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very clever. And also, I mean, using phrases that we always associate with soldiers off in fighting wars. You know, missing in action is what we think about. But yes, the Royal Commission is going ahead, and after a long wait, while it was missing in action, we can at least look forward to that.
Now, they're both pretty sombre issues, and they're both very stark cartoons. I want to go to a couple of your cartoons that really give us a good laugh, and they're busy, colourful, hilarious cartoons as well. Let's start off with the climate issue, and where ScoMo's sort of selling net zero as well now without the timeline. You've got the two of them pretty much in a sort of a ute sale, a bazaar out in the bush. Each Way Elbows coal conversion concoction, and Crazy ScoMo's green jobs juice. You're loving this. You're having too much fun with this one, mate.
Well, here's a couple of snake oil salesmen, and they expect us to swallow this stuff. You know, that's what I was getting at. I mean, we're all supposed to believe all of a sudden that Labor is on the side of coal miners and people working in the coal industry and so forth, and we're also supposed to believe that there's this magical green jobs bonanza around the corner once we embrace all manner of new renewables technology. So I just thought, I'll put them both in, out in the sticks on the back of utes, flogging off these miracle quack cures. That's what I was after.
Well, you're so right. Neither of them have actually changed their policies. It's just their rhetoric. So Albo's sort of going to the right in favour of coal, and ScoMo's coming to the left in favour of net zero. And those two utes, I can see one time you're just going to have them colliding. They're going to crash together and we'll have a tailgate collision. Another one you had a lot of fun with this week was Prince Harry. And you've got him suiting up for the funeral of his grandfather, Prince Philip, of course. The Queen requests that military uniforms not be worn, Your Highness. So, well, my finest turncoat and victimhood it is then. And I love his jacket. This is what he would have loved to wear. It's got Black Lives Matter, of course. It's got a rainbow badge, Stay Woke, Netflix. He's into it all. And you've even got a beautiful big dummy there for him to spit out whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, it did occur to me, probably after I'd filed this cartoon, that it was possibly a little bit nasty. But, I mean, as you say, it does sum up a lot about Harry and the way that he's gone. I mean, there's another uniform I could have drawn him in that goes back about 10, 15 years ago. So I suppose you should be glad I didn't dress him in that particular uniform. That's an episode he'd like to forget.
Indeed, he once wore an SS uniform, didn't he, at a fancy dress party or whatever. Fantastic cartoon, Johannes. Got a good laugh out of that one. And talk about nasty cartoons, let's go to Warren Brown again and his assessment of the Belt and Road Initiative and the way the Canberra has overruled Premier Daniel Andrews. And he got Daniel Andrews and President Xi. They've been run over by the belt and roller here with a belt of a road, Mr. G, says Daniel Andrews. He's been squashed on this one, and it's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it is. It is, and Warren always relishes the opportunity to draw sort of antique, heavy machinery like this. So, and nobody does it quite like Warren, but yeah, it sums it up beautifully. It's just steamrolling the whole idea at last, and sums it up brilliantly.
And what I hadn't picked up, of course, it looks like it's ScoMo who's driving the steamroller, and of course there's plenty of emissions being spouted out of the top of said machine.
Yeah.
Great to talk to you again, Johannes. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Cheers, mate.